Hi YouTube, it has been quite a while since I have recorded, but I did want to go over my year in review after my breast augmentation for you guys. So with that being said, I know the last time we had spoken, you know what, I haven't watched any of the videos, so I don't know exactly when the last time we spoke was. I know that I have recorded, but I just didn't edit. Editing sucks, and I would have no problem recording and doing this, but editing is just miserable for me. It takes so much time, and I really haven't had the time. But I did want to go over what has happened. So I had my first breast augmentation in December of 2024, so about a year ago, and in that I got 375 cc's dual plane, and they were the Mentor smooth round high profile, that Mentor memory gel. They were high profile, and I had that done. Well, I didn't really like how they were sitting. They were really far apart. They sat really naturally. I didn't want that natural of a look, even though I did tell my doctor, yeah, I don't want to look, you know, like a porn star. And I wanted a more natural look. I didn't realize that I didn't want a natural look. I didn't want a super augmented hard ball on your chest look, but I didn't want a supernatural look either. And so my doctor pretty much only uses one implant, it seems, and so and he doesn't use the mesh, the mesh internal brothing either. And so we had, you know, spoken about my options. He didn't recommend me going over the muscle. I originally wanted to go over the muscle. We didn't go over the muscle because he says you have like no tissue. I didn't want to go under the muscle because I didn't want to take all this time to recover. I didn't want to limit my exercises. And so we kind of settled on dual plane, where it's not as invasive to the pectoral muscle. But I did not know that dual plane also gives you a much more natural drop look. And so, yeah, so fast forward to I think it was my 5-month checkup post-op, I relayed to him that I was not happy with my augmentation. I did not like how far apart they sat on my chest. I measured it with my fingers, and I could fit literally all 4 fingers in between my implants, and he did agree that that was excessive. And so originally I did a lot of research into what implants I wanted to use. He only uses Mentor, and so I found the Boost implant. Well, the Boost implant is a more cohesive implant. It does sit, you know, it gives you this more upper pole look, which is what I wanted and what I got eventually. But originally I was going to go for 430 cc's in the Mod Plus. Now, the reason I chose a different profile was because I felt I needed more space in my chest to fill out, more of what they call the BWD, your breast width diameter, which my surgeon does not measure. I measured that myself as best as I could, and I came up to about 13 centimeters for my BWD. So the implant that I had originally picked was, I think, 13 centimeters wide for the 430. Well, I ended up going to a barrel race, and I would have lost a little bit of projection in that implant. Anyways, I ended up going to a barrel race, and I had spoken to a lady, and she's like, "Oh, you got the girls out, got it, flaunt it, da 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 da." And I felt really uncomfortable by that comment, and I don't know why that comment made me feel so uncomfortable and insecure, but I don't want people looking at me and thinking boobs first thing that they see. And it did make me feel really uncomfortable that she would make the comments that she made. And I don't know if I think she was making those comments to like pep me up a little bit, like, you know, make me feel confident in myself, but it did the opposite. And I know that you should not take one person's comment you know, it's your opinion that matters. But you also, when you have body dysmorphia, you kind of do rely on people telling you what you look like in order to know what you look like, especially in bodybuilding. Like, we literally go on stage and get feedback and then implement the feedback, right? So that I actually emailed my surgeon and I said, hey, I think I want to go with a 390, or I wanted to go down to like 350 or something like that. CC, I want to go down in size. I don't want these like in your face boobs. I don't want like people looking at me and the first thing that they see is boobs. So he called me and he's like, no, like you're going to the whole purpose of us doing this revision was we needed to fill out the chest wall, and we're not going to be able to accomplish this with going down in cc's, because the 350 was the same diameter of implant as the ones I had in. And I said, well, can't you just tighten the pocket, bring them closer together and everything like that? And he was like, well, we don't know if it's a pocket problem yet or an anatomy problem yet. So until we get in there, we don't know. But I think that you're making a very bad decision going down that many cc's. So we settled in the middle at 390 cc's. And that would give me 6 more centimeters of diameter on the implant. But I would lose, I think it was like 4 centimeters of projection. And to be honest, I could have gone with the 450 cc's and been perfectly happy. I did go smaller because I was so insecure about having these big in-your-face breasts. And I am happy with the 390 cc's, but I think I would have also been happy with the 450 cc's. And now that they've kind of like the swelling has settled down. This breast revision was done in September. And so I did take about 2 weeks of upper body completely off. I only took a week of lower body off, just because it was just a change. He had to tighten the pocket a little bit, but it was just, he didn't have to like, the recovery was so much easier the second time around than the first time around. I took painkillers the day of my surgery. After that, I was completely off of painkillers. The first surgery, I was on Valium for a freaking week, okay? Like, it was miserable. And so I was right back in the gym. I took a week off. I got back in the gym, hit legs, and then I eased into the upper body. I did take a full 6 weeks off to do any overhead pulling motion, because that was still really uncomfortable. But as far as like simple things like lateral raises, things that I'm not doing over my head, I was back to that in 2 weeks. And so very, very light though in 2 weeks. And I would say that I was back at like full strength in 6 weeks. So I don't think I've really lost anything. I think my body actually really needed that time to recover and just rest, because I was go, go, go all summer long. So I had that. So now let's see, I'm September, October, November, December. I'm about 3.5 months post-op right now. And I think that I've fully dropped and fluffed because there was nothing else to do, right? Like, I'm technically I'm 3 months post-op of this implant, but as far as the initial procedure goes, I am 12 and a half months post-op. Okay. So I am happy that I went with the Boost. I highly recommend the Boost. I think that that is a wonderful implant. I do still have spacing in between my breasts. They will never like close and touch. And that's why I say I could have gone with the 450 cc and been happy, because I could have, I do want them to naturally sit closer together than they are. I do have side boob. I know you can't tell in this bra. I'm not like one of those people that's obsessed with side boob. A lot of people are like, oh, I want a side boob. I never wear anything to show my side boob. I would rather have upper pull fullness, which I did not have any. And I'll show pictures. I did not have any upper pull fullness with my Mentor Memory gels. And I did ask him about going with a mesh bra for my revision. He still recommended against that. And I think that that is just more so him not performing a lot of these surgeries. See, I'm in North Dakota, and here in North Dakota, you don't have a whole lot of bodybuilders. There's not really a whole big plastic surgery scene like if I were to go to Salt Lake. And so, and I'm from Utah, and so going to Salt Lake was an option for me to spend some time with my sisters to recover. I could go out there, have a place to stay. It wouldn't have been a big issue. The issue was getting into a surgeon in Salt Lake in the timeline that I needed to get in, because I do barrel race and then I have to work around my competing season. And so not only do I have to work around competition season, I have to work around my horse riding season. And so I had to get in a very specific time frame. And I could not do that with a doctor in Salt Lake. And so that's why I chose to go to the doctor here in North Dakota. And I could go in, get out, I could get into him in the time frame that I needed to get into him. With my revision, he only charged me for the implant and anesthesia. So I paid about $2,400 for my revision. And if I would have gone to another doctor for the revision, I would have paid full price, because that's not their revision, right? He knew that the pocket that he made for my implant was too loose. And so that is why he agreed to give me the revision at the cost of the implant and paying for the anesthesia. So that is the reason why I did go back to him for the revision. If I could do it over again, I would get to have the perfect results possible, I would have gotten the 450cc Mod Plus boost. That would have given me 4 more centimeters of diameter and it would have given me, I think, 2 or 3 more centimeters projection. And so I would, if I could do it all over again, I would get the 450 boost, and I would get the internal mesh bra just to keep the girls in place, because I know I'm never going to stop lifting. I am a grandmother now. I'm only getting older. I have embraced my gray hairs, okay? And so I want to keep those babies high, tight, perky, okay? So if I could change anything, that is what I would change. I don't think I went to the gym too early. I think I let myself rest. I'm not upset about any of that. As far as movements that I'm restricted on, it still really bugs me to dead hang. So I haven't even attempted to pull up yet. Just to dead hang and get that stretch and like let it pull my lats up really is uncomfortable. And up until about a month ago, it was uncomfortable. Now I can dead hang and it doesn't hurt. Maybe I'll start giving pull-ups another try here in a couple months, but I have not given a pull-up an honest try. Just because the dead hangs really hurt. It feels like my muscles are ripping off of my body. I can't even describe what it feels like. It's just very uncomfortable and like feels like things are tearing. And so not worth it to me to give that a try. As far as strength goes, I'm stronger than I've ever been in the gym. I'm still making progress. I don't think I lost any mass. Of course, like after my first surgery, yeah, my shoulders dropped down in size quite a bit. My lats dropped down in size quite a bit. But after about a month of consistent, making sure that I was programming them and progressing on them, they were right back to normal. And now they're in the place where I'm actually able to grow them. And so I think it was worth it. I am glad that I got my breast augmentation. I have not suffered any breast implant illness symptoms. I did at first, after my first surgery, I did go through a period where my body was really inflamed, but I can't say that that was for sure from the procedure or not. But as far as right now goes, everything is going smoothly. So yeah, that is my update on my breast implants. If you have any questions, I can do another video with a Q&A, but I think I've pretty much answered everything. I'm grateful that my doctor listened to me. I'm grateful that he gave me the call back. I'm grateful that that he did not let me go with the 350cc implant, because I would be severely disappointed. And so yeah, as far as that goes, there's a lot of other changes. I'm about to start prep again. might be doing a warm-up show in Fit Model just to get feedback and to kind of figure out where I fit. I know my upper body is probably a little bit too big for Fit Model, but I think my lower body's just right for Fit Model. And then bikini, I think my upper body's just right for bikini, but my lower body is a little small for bikini. So this will be an interesting I'm probably doing a show in March in Utah in Fit Model, and then in May in South Dakota for bikini. So I'm gonna get the feedback from both judges, look at my stage shots, get the feedback from my own coach, and figure out where we're going from here. So that is the plan. I do have a new coach, and you know, I took a little bit of a life season this summer. I still absolutely love Tammy and will recommend her. I just needed a fresh perspective, and this coach is closer to home and we can work more closely together. So, but yeah, that is it for this video. I will start vlogging a little bit more, showing more of my prep and the changes that have been made. So thanks for listening to my ramble, and we'll talk to you next time.